तम श्लोके भक्ति भवति नैष्टिकी. Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 10 and Text 41. Sattvam Rajaha Tamaha Iti. Sattvam Rajastama Iti. Tisraha Sura Nu Narakaha. Tisraha Sura Nu Narakaha. Tatrapi Ekaikashaha Rajan. Tatrapi Ekaikasho Rajan. Vidyante Gatayaha Tridha. Vidyante Gatayastridha. Yadha Ekaikataraha Anyabhyam. Yathaikaika taro anyabhyam swabhavaha upahanyate. Swabhava upahanyate. Sattvam rajastama iti. Tisraha suranu narakaha. Tatrapi ekaikasho rajan. Vidyante gatayastridha. Yathaikaikataro anyabhyam swabhava upahanyate. Sattvam, the mode of goodness. Rajaha, the mode of passion. Tamaha, the mode of darkness. Iti, thus. Tisraha, Trayo. Sura, demigod. Nu, human being. Narakaha, one who is suffering hellish conditions. Tatra api, even there. Ekaikashaha, another. Rajan, O king. Vidyante, divide in two. Gatayaha, movements. Tridha, three. Yatha, at that time. Ekaikataraha, one in relation with another. Anyabhyam, from the other. Swabhavaha, habit. Upahanyate, develops. Translation purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Translation: according to the different modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of darkness, there are different living creatures who are known as demigods, human beings, and hellish living entities. O king, even a particular mode of nature, being mixed with the other two, is divided into three, and thus each kind of living creature is influenced by the other modes and acquires its habits also. Please repeat. According to the different modes of material nature, the mode of goodness, the mode of passion, and the mode of darkness, there are different living creatures who are known as demigods, human beings, and hellish living entities. O king, even a particular mode of nature, being mixed with the other two, is divided into three, and thus each kind of living creature is influenced by the other modes and acquires its habits also. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The living entities individually are being conducted by a particular mode of nature, but at the same time there is every chance of being influenced by the other two. Generally, all conditioned souls in the material engagement are influenced by the mode of passion, because every one of them is trying to lord it over the material nature to fulfill individual desire. But in spite of the individual mode of passion, there is always the chance of being influenced by other modes of nature by association. If one is in good association, he can develop the modes of goodness, and if he is in bad association, he may develop the modes of darkness or ignorance. Nothing is stereotyped. One can change his habit by good or bad association, and one has to become intelligent enough to discriminate between good and bad. The best association is the service of the devotees of the Lord, and by that association, one can become the highest qualified man by the grace of pure devotees of the Lord. As we have already seen in the life of Srila Narada Muni, he became the topmost devotee of the Lord simply by the association of pure devotees of the Lord. By birth he was the son of a maid servant and had no knowledge of his father and no academic education, even of the lowest status. Simply by associating with the devotees and by eating the remnants of their footsteps, he gradually developed the transcendental qualities of the devotees. By such association, his taste for chanting and hearing the transcendental glories of the Lord became prominent, and because the glories of the Lord are non-different from the Lord, he got direct association with the Lord by means of sound representation. Similarly, there is the life of Ajamila, 6th canto, who was the son of a Brahmana and was educated and trained properly in the discharge of the duties of a Brahmana. But in spite of all this, because he contacted the bad association of a prostitute, was put into the path of the lowest quality of Chandala, or the last position of human beings. Therefore, the Bhagavatam recommends always the association of the Mahat, or the great soul, for opening the gate of salvation, and to associate with the persons engaged in lording over the material world means to enter into the darkest region of hell. One should try to raise himself by the association of the great soul, and that is the way of perfection of life. Dasansta Bhaktivedanta Purpoto Madhyana Timirandhasya Dhyananjana Shalakaya Chakshuranmilitam Ena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshnaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Nitinamine Namaste Saraswate Deve Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So yesterday we happened to meet one doctor was discussing with us, and then we asked him about some common diseases. Dengue and some viral fevers and all that. So that doctor was explaining to us that this year all these cases were very less. Dengue or many of the common things that we see, they are very less. And then we asked him why. He said because of the COVID, people have changed their habits. They started wearing masks, and if somebody is coughing or sneezing, they are maintaining some distance, and they are also washing their hands, sanitizing. There is a change in their behavior, and the cleanliness is also been emphasized. And so all these things contributed to reduction of other diseases. Of course, COVID is there. That is still going on. In Britain, they found that there is a second wave of COVID. And the COVID is spreading there, and it is said that it is a different strain from what we have experienced till now. This COVID strain in UK is 70% more powerful in spreading, and so it is spreading very fast. It just started and it is spreading very fast, and the health minister said already the COVID situation has gone out of control. Just started few days back, and already he has announced like that. So UK is planning some lockdown. Thousands are again dying. So that's the environment created by the COVID. And because the environment is like that, people are forced to change their habits. They have changed their habits for a little better healthy lifestyle, and that is also helping them in some other ways. So here Prabhupada's purport is centered around the principle of association, how the environment powerfully molds our behavior, molds our habits. This is Prabhupada is explaining in the purport. He gives two famous examples from Bhagavatam. One is that of Narada Muni, and one is the Ajamila. These two pastimes indicate the most powerful influence of association or the environment in which we live. So, if the environment is very powerful, association is very powerful, we also change powerfully. Our habits, our behaviors, everything changes very powerfully. And if the association is good, we become like Narada Muni. We can develop qualities like Narada Muni. And if the association is bad, even though we may be very exalted, we can degrade ourselves like Ajamila. So Prabhupada is explaining here one important concept. Yadaikaikataro anyabhyam. Although eka, you may have one quality predominant in you, it can be influenced by anyabhyam, other two modes. You may be prominently situated in Satoguna. Satoguna means highly disciplined, systematic, and timeliness, cleanliness, discipline. This is Satoguna. So one may be sattvic predominantly, but always there is a chance of anyabhyam, influenced by the other two modes. Suddenly you will see he is very indisciplined and very dirty and those possibilities are there. Anyabhyam swabhava upahanyate. So the good news is that we can change our swabhava. We can change our habits. Why? Because we can always develop other modes. We may be in tamoguna, we may be in rajoguna, but still we can develop sattva and beyond. The entire sadhana bhakti will elevate a devotee even from the lowest modes, from rajoguna and tamoguna to a systematic life. Highly disciplined, systematic, clean life. This is sadhana bhakti. That means the devotee quickly comes to sattva. So the morning sadhana program is designed in such a way that we systematically come in contact with the internal energy of the Lord. We contact with the Supreme Lord. And by such powerful environment, by such powerful association with the Lord, with the devotees, with the pure devotee, we come out of our lower habits. And slowly we develop taste and develop sensitive habits. A devotee starts becoming sensitive instead of a very jerky person. So our responses will be sensitive and in line with Shastra. This is Sattva. So we want to come out of the pushes, the impulsive reactions. Then we need to develop Sattva. And the single most factor which will help us is the environment. Devotees, the devotees, the temple is an environment in which we can come in contact with transcendental modes. So Prabhupada says the temple is in Suddha Sattva, and the forest, the village life used to be in Sattva, and then passion means the city life, and ignorance means the life of the brothel or the liquor shops. These are all in ignorance. Whenever you are traveling across the city, you will see all these combinations. But the temples are like vayases, although they are apparently situated in this world, but the modes are not there. There is no passion, there is no ignorance, not even Sattva. It is a transcendental place. So, such environment will help us to slowly transcend our modes. Now, how do these modes reflect in our life, in our day-to-day life? They reflect in the form of swabhava. Swabhava upanyate. They develop in terms of the habits. So we should know that our mechanism, our bodily mechanism, we act out of habits. Our brain comes up with an automatic response. and that is called habit. For example, let us say suddenly there is one snake here, big snake comes. What will you do? That's all, run away. Even I will run away. Right? So, you see some environment and how to respond is already coded in the form of a habit. Your response is coded. You need not have to calculate now what to do. So it's already inbuilt. Even if you want to think what to do also, before that you ran away. The response is so automatic, you ran away. And from there you are thinking now what to do. We have to go back to the temple. So this, the response, so you saw something, that means there is a triggering point. See, you have to understand how habits work. For every habit, there will be a triggering point. The environment will bring the triggering point. What is the triggering point? We saw a snake. And who brought the snake here? The environment has brought. So the environment brings the triggers. And as soon as you see that, there is a response. Right? If it is a new environment, we develop new responses. And slowly they will become habits. So, in the temple environment, we get an opportunity to develop new habits. New habits. For example, before coming in touch with this movement, who used to get up by 3:30 or 4 o'clock? If it is a Sunday, we get up only for lunch. Right? Some people probably for dinner. I don't know. So, who gets up by 4 o'clock? But then why are we doing this? We came in association of devotees. When they ask, what time you are getting up? We feel, oh, okay. I'm not supposed to get up late. And so, because of the association of devotees, their words, and the environment, you also see, yes, they are all getting up. Everybody is getting up here. And so even I should get up. There is a motivation. Right? So that's how we get molded in our habits. I see sometimes some village boys, they're very simple in heart. In many of the habits, they're sattvic, very simple. But when they come to the city, they live in the hostels. And in the hostel, now who is his roommate? Roommates. That depends. Depending on that, this boy will develop new habits. So long ago I came across one boy like that. He was from Bihar. Very simple, actually very simple person. It became complicated after coming to the city. He was just 21, 22, very young boy. Already addicted to drugs. Just 21, 22. In 6 months or 8 months he developed that habit thanks to his roommates. They are all like that. So, you can see the power of association, power of the environment. Let us say in the room you are only seeing these bottles, whiskey bottles, beer bottles. They are drinking. And they are saying, hey, you also do. They will ask, everybody is like that. They will preach what he is doing, they will all preach. Hey, take it. They will say, no, I am very strict and I will not do. He will say. Then that fellow will say, hey, what kind of a man? If you are a man, you should drink. So then he will say, I am a man and he wants to prove that I am a man. If you are a man, you have to drink this much. You see how much big jug I am drinking. So this is how you can see the influence of environment, the people. They are drinking, they are showing, they are doing. All these things influence. So that's why, if at all we have a choice in our life, within this material world, if at all we have a choice, the choice is choice of association. That choice is there. But within the three modes, anything you choose, ultimately there is a danger that we can fall off to the other two modes. You may be in very nice sattvic mood in the morning, by afternoon you will become influenced by rajoguna, and by evening or night you will come under tamoguna. So this continuously change, sattvam rajastama iti tisraha, these three, sura nu naraka. According to these three modes, these three types of people are being designated. Sura, demigods; Ru means human beings; and Naraka, people who are living in hellish conditions. Now, what is the difference between these three categories? The difference is these three modes. So, if we want to break our old habits, we want to change our habits, svabhava. First point you have to understand is, we can never break our habits. Habit will not go. But you can modify them, or you can develop new ones. There is nothing called breaking. Those same things are working in the brain. But you can intelligently change your habits. For example, when there is a snake, the immediate response is to run. You cannot change that response. But instead of running this way, probably you can run this way. The response is to run. For example, whenever some people they feel anxious, they immediately light cigarette. And if you go them and ask, why are you smoking? His answer will be, no, my food get digested. I have good digestion. They'll give some reason. That's called reward. For every habit, there is a reward. There is some result that we get. So we get hooked to it. Now, if I do this, I get this reward. If I do this, I get this. Fruity mentality. So, for example, say a mobile. Now people are developing new habits. Particularly, say with mobile. Every once in a while, he wants to take the mobile and then click something. Even if there is nothing, they'll take out and see, oh, there is nothing. They'll keep it inside. If there is nothing, then he will enroll for more apps and more channels, so that something always comes. And then, or if there is a little sound, immediately he will pick it up. He'll try to get it. So that has become habit. Taking the mobile and click something and then see something. So, if you want to change that behavior, you cannot change lifting habit, mobile and click. Instead of clicking YouTube, you can click Prabhupada's Leela app. Both the icons are next to each other. Either you can click here or you can click here. So click Prabhupada's Leela app and then read one Prabhupada's Leela instead of seeing some useless video. This is a very important. Slowly you have to change those small things. You cannot change your impulse to see the mobile. Now it has become tivra. It become very big. You cannot change that. But then when you go there and try to click this, right? Always keep some devotional apps, something devotional, and you won't click that. And when you click and when you hear, you say, wow, wonderful, I'm feeling very nice, reward. You tell your mind, I'm very happy. Then mind will change that habit, habits will change. So you need to see what is the trigger and why are you craving for it. Change your response and feel a spiritual reward. My Guru will bless me, Krishna will bless me. That is our reward. Okay, so by following the process that Srila Prabhupada has given, by associating with Srila Prabhupada, this is the most important. Here Prabhupada is saying here, association of the Mahat or the great soul for the opening of gate of salvation. Salvation, habits are pulling you down. You want salvation from all these useless habits. That gate will be opened when you associate with Mahat Prabhupada. What that association does? The words that are emanating from a pure devotee, his instructions or the sentences, they will act like a sword and they cut off the attachment to our habits. The habits are in the mind, so pulling you. There is something which is pulling you, like a rope, it is pulling you. And who can cut that rope? The instructions that are coming from a pure devotee. When some instruction hits you, it is cutting off the rope that is pulling us. Okay, so we should pray to Prabhupada, always approach to Prabhupada books. Now I am associating with my spiritual master. By his blessing today, some ropes will be cut. Day by day, we should cut off these attachments. Attachments which are there in the form of habits, those attachments will be cut off by the potency of the words that are emanating from the lotus mouth of a spiritual master. That's why when somebody reads Prabhupada books, he feels tremendous transformation. Now since you are feeling such a transformation, should you not give it to others? Right? So that's why in this month we have this book distribution marathon. So we should try to give Prabhupada books as many as possible to as many as people. Intelligently plan where and how to distribute. Krishna will give you intelligence and distribute these books. If you want to change your habits, just take a bag of books and go. And then distribute these books. Either go out or stand here, wherever. Strongly convince people to change their lives by reading these Prabhupada books. So by giving Prabhupada to them, they will get Krishna and their life will change. And most importantly, our life will change. Any questions? Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణవాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణవాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 91331077